right, so now that we've covered the calculation for the cost of equity, the cost of preference shares, and the cost of debt, we can wrap this lecture up and look at how you should calculate the weighted average cost of capital. Now, before we move on to our lecture examples, let's just go through a couple of important principles. First, unless the required specifically states otherwise, if the target capital structure is provided, you should use the target in order to calculate the weighted average cost of capital. So guys, throughout the lecture, you saw how to calculate the cost of equity, the market value of equity, the cost of preference shares, the market value of preference shares, the cost of debt, the market value of debt. Please note, if you are given the target capital structure of the company, you won't need market values. You obviously always need to calculate costs. So you need to calculate the cost of equity, cost of debt, the cost of the preference shares. But you won't need to calculate market values because you are going to use the target capital structure in order to perform your calculation. So you'll remember I actually said to you throughout the lecture, sometimes you don't have to calculate market values. Make sure that you read the information provided in the question carefully, read the required carefully to determine if you actually need to calculate market values. Don't waste valuable time performing calculations that you don't need to perform. All right, so you can see that again over here. Don't waste valuable time calculating market values if the target capital structure has been given. On the other hand, if the target capital structure has not been provided, then you are going to use market values to calculate your weighted average cost of capital. So if the target capital structure is not given, you won't just calculate the cost of equity, cost of debt, and cost of preference shares. In addition to calculating the cost, you will also need to calculate the market values because we're going to use the market values in order to calculate the WACC because we don't have the target capital structure of the company. Then, let's actually go and look at those examples and then I'll come back to these principles. So please go to example 7.3. In this example, you have been given the target capital structure of the company. So Stark Limited has the following target capital structure. Ideally, they would like to have 40% equity, 25% preference shares, and 35% debt in their capital structure. You can assume that you've calculated the following costs. You've calculated the cost of equity, the cost of the preference shares, and the after-tax cost of debt. So I said to you, if the target capital structure is provided, you don't need market value. So we don't have the market value of debt, equity, and preference shares. We only have the costs because we are going to perform this calculation using the target capital structure. So this weighting over here comes from the target capital structure above. Please note, you must always total this and show that the total is 100%. There's a consequential mark available for that. So don't lose out on easy presentation marks. Make sure that you show the total is 100%. That's very important. Then, this is such a simple calculation, guys. You take your costs from above. Remember, the cost of debt must always be after tax because interest is tax deductible. So you must use the after-tax cost. Then what we do is you take the weighting, you multiply it by the cost in order to get your WACC. Add everything together and you calculate your weighted average cost of capital. So guys, if the target capital structure is being provided, you use the target capital structure for your weighting. If you look at the next example, in this example, the target capital structure has not been provided. So assume that you have calculated the following for Snow Limited. You've calculated the cost of equity, the cost of preference shares, and the after-tax cost of debt, and you've also calculated the market value of equity, market value of preference shares, and the market value of debt. So because the target capital structure has not been provided, we need to use the market values in order to calculate our weighting. So it's very simple. If you total this, the total market value of everything added together is R1,000,000. So to get your weighting, equity is 400,000 divided by 1,000,000 gives me 40%. Preference shares, 250,000 divided by 1,000,000 gives me 25%. Debt, 350,000 divided by 1,000,000 gives me 35%. So you get your weighting from the market value because the target capital structure was not provided. All right. Then once again, just bring down your costs. Please make sure that you show that this totals to 100%. There's a consequential mark available for that. Multiply everything out and calculate your weighted average cost of capital. Now, please note, guys, you must always read the required carefully. Sometimes they will actually give you the target capital structure. So the target capital structure is provided. But in the required, they'll specifically tell you to calculate the WACC using market values. So obviously, if the required specifically says you must calculate the WACC using market values, then you must calculate market values. All right. Then in the next example, guys, the only thing I'm changing over here is now you have also been provided with the target capital structure of Brand Limited. So that's your target. So obviously, if you are provided with the target capital structure, we use that as our weighting over here. So that comes from the target capital structure. Make sure you show that that adds up to 100%. Then you've also already calculated the following costs. So you've already calculated the cost of equity, the cost of preference shares, and the after-tax cost of debt. But now in this example, I want you to assume that these preference shares over here are going to convert into ordinary shares in 3 years' time. So you'll remember when we looked at our example of convertible preference shares, if they are going to convert into ordinary shares in the long term, remember, guys, this WACC calculation over here is a long-term calculation. So if the preference shares are going to convert into ordinary shares, you don't use the cost of the preference share in your WACC calculation. Instead, you use the cost of equity in your WACC calculation. So please pay attention to that. Go back to the example where we covered convertible preference shares. Right at the end of that example, you'll see I've got a little note, and it says if they're going to convert into ordinary shares, in your WACC calculation, you don't use the cost of the preference share, you use the cost of equity. All right, so that's the purpose of this example, just to show you that. But otherwise, your logic is exactly the same. So go back to the principles. If preference shares or debentures are going to convert into ordinary shares, the cost of equity should be used in the WACC calculation and not the cost of the preference shares or the cost of the debenture. Okay, not. Then one other important principle here. Please note, we already said WACC is a long-term calculation. So because it's a long-term calculation, you only include long-term or permanent sources of capital in your WACC calculation. If you've been given a short-term loan or if you have a bank overdraft, that should not be included in your WACC calculation because we know that bank overdrafts are short-term in nature. You only include long-term finance. Please note that there are always exceptions in management accounting. So obviously, if they specifically tell you that the company uses their bank overdraft as a source of long-term finance, so they don't use their overdraft to finance working capital, it's not used for short-term purposes, instead it's used for long-term purposes, then obviously you should include it in your calculation. So if the question is silent, we know that bank overdraft is short-term, ignore it. If you are specifically told that bank overdraft is used for long-term purposes or for long-term funding, then include it. WACC is a long-term calculation. All right, guys, so that wraps up this lecture. Please make sure that you work through the lecture examples that I haven't done and make sure that you're comfortable with everything before attempting the tutorial. Thank you very much, guys.